What's up, everybody? Alex Brackey here with the Valor Group, coming to you here to talk about our brand. Now, this is actually a question I got when I was on a podcast recently about what's the origin of the Valor Group, and I was super glad. I mean, I should talk more about it because it is actually something I'm super passionate about. Before I was in real estate, I was actually in law enforcement. I was a cop in law enforcement for almost 10 years, and my last stop was in Loudoun County, Virginia. That was where I finished up my law enforcement career. Loved what I did. Didn't leave because I didn't like it anymore. I loved it. So growing up, I was in a bit of a military family. My dad was in the Air Force, and then coming out of school, I went almost straight into law enforcement. And so really, that was all I knew was military, law enforcement. That is just what I thought how the world operated, was at that level of dedication, I guess, to the job and camaraderie and things like that. I didn't realize that the rest of the world maybe didn't operate like that. And so when I came into real estate, to say that I had some culture shock would probably be a bit of an understatement. I mean, I was really taken aback by how, maybe the average, level of, I don't know how to say it nicely, but the average level of competence, right, in my industry now, whereas, when I was a cop, I literally put my life in the hands of the people I worked with. That was how much competency I knew existed in the people I worked with. I can't say I would do the same for the average real estate agent, right? And again, that's not to bash the industry or any individual agent. It's just, it is notably different, right? It was a very different transition. And so I found myself really missing, some of the brotherhood and the camaraderie. And while I was doing that, I had a brand in real estate, my brand that I had created. I did, and it was intentional, and it was a horrible idea. It was this brand that I created in the hopes of creating a really wide umbrella that alienated nobody, right? That I would appeal to everybody. That was my logic. I actually ended up appealing to no one. There was nobody that was really drawn to the brand the way that I hoped they would be. And so what I ended up doing was I rebranded after a learning experience. I had a good friend of mine, Aaron Taylor, who is the owner of Ridgeside Canine, is now, shout out Ridgeside Canine, now the third largest dog training brand in America. And he came to me when he was starting his business. I had already been in business, and he showed me his idea of his brand, Ridgeside Canine, and sort of the visuals of the brand at the time. And so, as I saw his meteoric rise in success, it really dawned on me that it was specifically because he put his flag in the ground and said, look, my brand is military, prior military and police owned and operated, and that's just what I stand for. And so, I saw that, and I saw people were actually attracted to it because of that, right? And so I said, you know what? Look, this is what I've always wanted to do too. I specifically didn't do it because I didn't want to upset anybody. I didn't want to, push anybody away. But what I realized was that I am who I am, right? And once somebody, let's say, in the old brand, if they would have come and started trying to work with me, the truth of the matter is we weren't going to be a good fit anyway, right? I mean, if they just can't stand the police and I love and support the police, we're just not going to be a good fit. And so that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't, hate on anybody that doesn't love the police. I mean, I just the same as I hope they don't hate on me for coming from that world. But, the point is that by simply stating who we are and whatever, like that actually helped a lot of folks come into the fray and really believed in our mission then. And so, we've been able to align with brands and charities like Paws of Honor, right, that support military and police canines. And we've been able to do a lot of good work because we have folks that decide to work with us because we put out there right up front who we are, what we stand for, what our background is. The side effect, though, of doing this is that, look, I don't ever make any bones about the fact that, when you come from a military background or a police background, firefighter background, even any first responder, right? I mean, you see the world a little bit differently than average folks do. So I joke about the fact that the first time me and my wife walked into the home we ended up buying, the home that we live in today, it's, the upstairs has this hallway that is open on both sides. It's open to the foyer on one side and open to the family room on the other side. And the very first thing that popped in my head and actually exited my mouth, because I don't have much of a filter sometimes, is, wow, this is going to be a real pain in the butt to defend if we have to, right? And that was just the way that I saw things. And what I came to realize is other cops, other military, like they have that same thing that runs through their head, but a lot of times they filter that out, but they just don't say it, right? Because that's weird to other normal people. And so what's fun for me about being the brand, the Valor Group, is when I'm working with somebody that is police or military or firefighter, right? We can actually have some of those conversations, right? That run through our head that we would have with the brothers and sisters that we worked with. And we can have those conversations openly and honestly, because that's just who we are. Those are the thoughts that run through our head. It was a little bit self-serving, honestly, in the end too, is I got to work with the folks that I really love working with, that really do kind of share my same value structure and my beliefs, and just, again, at a base level, the way my mind operates. And the other thing that's cool too is having a team full of agents that are all prior military, police, law enforcement, etc. It brings back a little bit of that camaraderie that I left when I left policing. And so I get to have it here in the real estate space. Again, not the same. We're not going and kicking doors in together. There's not that gigantic adrenaline dump, once a week or whatever, that we get to share together. But we do get to have those same shared experiences from our past lives, and we get to hang out together now on the other side of that life. So, guys, that's the origin of the Valor Group. I get that question a lot. If you guys are, prior military, law enforcement, firefighters, first responders, medical workers, even teachers, look, we get you. That is the world we come from. If you're not from that realm, totally cool. We'd love to work with you too. If you hate the folks that work in those fields, look, we're probably not going to be for you. Just telling you straight up. And that's okay. Again, love and respect to you guys too. But we're probably not going to be a good fit. Anyway, if you're looking for a home in the DC region and you think you'd like somebody that, kind of looks, the background looks like your background, they think like you, they talk like you, look, we'd love to work with you. That's exactly what we're all about. And I hope you'll reach out. Thanks so much.